Planning your weekend.
Time for a look at your West Tennessee forecast with meteorologist Brian Davis.
And welcome in, everyone. It's the 5 o'clock time. We're checking out your weather. We have quite a bit of active storms out there in the 5 o'clock hour, but none of those are to the severe limits. We're going to get a check on everything right here. Stay with us here on West Tennessee Weather Channel. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some things that are coming up in the near future. All right, so we've got enjoy the cooler temperatures over the next few days because look at the heat. This is going to be coming back next week, and some of the later model runs, we're seeing upper 90s returning. And then just for a heads up, the following week, I'm seeing up around 100-degree temperatures. So I'm hoping this is one of those things. I hope that all the models are absolutely wrong. But we know we're heading towards August. The dog days of summer are right here. But you can see West Tennessee, those bright pink colors, that's on the Euro model. And that temperature says 96 right there in Jackson, Tennessee. So we're going to be watching that. But right now, we're not anticipating any problems. But we're also watching the watches and warnings. None of those out there today, but some of these storms are 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, and they have some frequent lightning going on within them. All right, looking live here in Savannah, it's 81 degrees right now. You can see the skies are gray. And in fact, just right before I came on live, looking at this camera, you could see a lot of rain falling underneath the cloud. And if you'll look where that electrical tower is right there kind of towards the middle left, you can see a little bit of the sunlight still kind of gleaming through. It looks white. Well, just to the right of that is just some very intense rain, and we're kind of looking back towards Adamsville and Selmer there from Savannah, but that is what we call a rain foot. It's where the rain is coming down out of the cloud and it kind of bends back kind of towards the left, right there towards that water tower. So that's some very intense rainfall, and that storm is moving almost due west. So it's moving from east towards the west this evening. 81 degrees, east winds at around 3 miles per hour. All right, this camera is not working. Some of them have been knocked out by lightning, I believe. But we'll go to Memphis. We're at 81 degrees here, where they're so far avoiding the storms, but not for much longer. There's some storms heading into around Memphis areas here very shortly. And a live view from Paris where it's 86 degrees and we've got some sun, but we've also got some clouds there in that shot as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our temperatures across the board. Where it is not raining, it is much warmer. We've got 90 in Union City and Ridgely, 88 in Dyersburg, 90 in Trenton. Hang in there, though, Trenton. It won't be much longer. You've got some storms nearby. They're going to help to cool you down. Dresden, 90. We've got 86 now in Paris and Huntington and Camden. But right down along I-40 and south, that's where we've had most of the storms this evening. And notice, much cooler. We're in the upper 70s in Selmer and Savannah. We're at 84 in Bolivar, 81 in Memphis, 84 in Brownsville, and 84 in Lexington. Again, this time it makes this time of the year a big difference when you've got those storms. Even if they're just nearby, you get the cool outflow from those, and it can drop your temperature much by several degrees. All right, the radar, this is where it's happening this afternoon. You can see all those storms coming through there. Brownsville, you got a few more minutes, but looks like especially south parts there, you're going to be getting hit with some heavy rainfall and some lightning going on there. And then you can see back over towards Meaden, Bolivar, just west of Henderson. And notice the direction of these storms. They're kind of circulating around a big low pressure area there in Mississippi. We'll show you what we mean here in a moment. Savannah, that storm that we were looking at on camera, it's actually moved through. It's moving to the west of you. It's moving away from you towards the Selmer area. So that's going to be very active here for about the next hour. And then you can see all of this kind of making its way over towards Munford, Memphis. So you guys are about to get a big downpour there too. And eventually a lot of this will work its way right over there into the Memphis area. And you can see kind of in the bigger picture how all of this is kind of circulating around. So you've got storms kind of going from east to west through southwest Tennessee. And then if you look down in central Mississippi near Winona, they're kind of moving a little bit more, trying to move more from a little bit to the west towards the east. And if we go further south, you'll see more of a west to east movement down here. So that's that counterclockwise flow in the larger picture here. All right, let's move forward. Let's take a look at our surface map, which is kind of detailing all of this. Now, since this surface map came out, a lot of this has moved a little bit further west. But here's another interesting thing. We've got a severe weather threat in Maine. Check that out. I did a YouTube video on this about a couple of hours ago. An enhanced 3 out of 5 risk. That normally is what we would get in West Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, back into the plains. No. This is in Maine, way up there in the Northeast. And 3 out of 5, 10% risk of tornadoes. So that's something you do not see every day. You seldom see that. But we did a little video about that. If you want to check it out, it's in the Book of Brian, right there on the YouTube West Tennessee weather page. Just look under Book of Brian there. That's just where I do some extra things from time to time. So tomorrow, by the way, New York City is going to be in a severe risk. It'll be the 1 out of 5, but still occasionally you can get, tornadoes in that green shaded area, 1 out of 5. So that's something you don't see every day either. And here over the last few years, it seems like about once every 1 to 2 years, we'll get some kind of a little threat like that across like parts of New York City, in and around Washington, D.C., those areas. But back at home, things are quiet. We don't, well, if you'd call it quiet, at least severe-wise, we don't have an outlook for severe weather from the Storms Prediction Center. Here's what we were talking about. See the low pressure? I've put it on the map there. And then you've got kind of more of a warm front there to the right of that because of the counterclockwise flow. And then the north winds that we've gotten over the last couple of days kind of circulating in around that low on the west side. But we're just to the north of that, so we're getting more of the east to west movement in those storms. By the way, Futurecast is overlaid with this, and you can see it looks quite active through about 8 o'clock. We'll continue to see some of these scattered storms, and then they'll die down as we get beyond about 8 o'clock. Things will get quiet again for most of us. All right, so I wanted to show you that this evening as we're doing the update, and then we'll take you on to the hourly forecast. So there is about a 30% chance, and that goes through about 8 o'clock. Then it drops down to about the 27% range, and then drops down to less than 10% as we get into the late night hours. And we're going to do this again tomorrow. I had told you the chances of rain would ramp back up Tuesday and Wednesday after a mostly dry Monday. So we'll wake up in the morning to about 70 degrees. There could be a little patchy fog out there, and then we'll start rolling again with mostly dry conditions until we get into the afternoon hours. And then we're going to be looking at about a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Again, it'll mainly be southwest Tennessee. And then we'll go from 87 to 70 tomorrow night, back up to 87 on Thursday. Again, some rounds of showers and storms. Those will tend to taper off some as we get towards Friday. It's 40% odds, and the weekend is still looking nice and dry for the most part. Will be a little bit warmer, but still a pretty pleasant weekend shaping up for us as it looks right now. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the 5 o'clock weather update. We do have some storms out there. We did a live update just a few minutes ago concerning some storms with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Again, just use caution. If you encounter one of these storms, make sure you get into a sturdy place and let it blow through. It's not going to stay there long. But the main threat is the very limited visibility from the heavy rain and also the cloud-to-ground lightning, of course. All right, take care. We'll see you back around 10 tonight, and stay safe. If there's any warnings that were to surprise us, they'll scroll at the bottom of the screen and your county would light up. All right, take care.
We are West Tennessee Weather Channel.